Good morning. Hope everybody's having a good morning or day so far, whenever you're watching this. My name is Julie. I am the owner and founder of Lady Fayaltai's Light Healing. This video is on my group page in Facebook, which you can also find me on Instagram and YouTube as well. YouTube has a nice, if you want to just watch the videos and you're not really interested in some of the other things, or if you want to go back and watch videos that you missed, YouTube makes it much easier to search them out. Whereas in the group, you kind of have to scroll through everything, and you can't really search by items. So if you were interested in, say, like Beltane, you could go to YouTube and just scroll through and find my video on Beltane instead of scrolling through all the posts on Facebook. So that's an option if anybody's interested. All right, so we are going to get started here. Trying today without glasses. I don't like the way that the light reflects off my glasses, so like you just see the screen in my glasses. So I'm trying it today with no glasses, but we'll see how that goes because I'm pretty friggin' blind. I'm going to just hop in here and invite some people, if it lets me. No? Oh, there it goes. And so yeah, so I'm trying with no glasses, but I can't really see much of anything. The screen's really just blurry. So if you comment, which I don't usually have too many people that are actually on live with me to comment at the time. Usually the comments come when people watch it later, and I can just respond to them. But if somebody does comment on there, I'm probably gonna have to really squint to read it. So we're gonna get started here in just a second. I'm having technical difficulties this morning. We're gonna talk about Litha, or the Summer Solstice, or sometimes even called Midsummer, which that name never really made sense to me because Summer Solstice and Litha is about the start of summer, and Midsummer makes it sound like it's the middle of the summer. But somebody somewhere called it that. I guess it stuck. Yeah, sorry, this is not going very well this morning. My computer doesn't want to scroll for some reason. I don't know what I'm doing here. Almost done. And we're gonna go ahead and sage, and we're gonna pull our chakra card this morning. And actually, I had ordered a drum, and it came yesterday, and I didn't finish unpacking it all because I was actually gonna do it with you guys here. And of course, as always, I have a pile of crystals here on my little space here to go over with you, but we just haven't really had much time. Really, if anybody has any idea of a faster way to invite people to the friggin' lives, because this is very like time consuming and my arm feels like it's gonna fall off, and you guys are probably bored. I try to have some little story or some little thing to tell you while I'm doing this. But and as the group gets bigger, it just takes longer and longer to do this, but there really has to be a faster way how to do this. Okay, I've reached the bottom. So, all right, so somebody has commented or joined, and I can't see. Annette. This is, like I said, I don't have my glasses on today. I'm going to try it without glasses. I don't know how that's going to go, but we'll give it a shot, and if it doesn't work out well, then next week I'll put my glasses back on. All right, let's jump right into smudging. I didn't put it back where it normally goes. I kind of have to keep things pretty neat on my space because my space really is not that big, and I have a lot here, and I will start to lose things. All right, just going to smudge this, send some of it out to you guys. All right. I always recommend smudging, even if you don't believe in the metaphysical properties of it. Smudging is really good for clearing the air of actual bacteria and negative positive ions that cause negative reactions. But really, you know, if you've got somebody that's sick or anything like that, smudging is really good for that. Flu and cold season is good for smudging, but you know, really anytime is good for smudging. So we're going to pull from our chakra deck this morning. And, sorry, my washing machine is going, and apparently it's off balance. Not pulling for anybody particular, just pulling if it resonates with you. Morning Jill, Annette's on there too, so thanks guys for popping on. Not pulling for anybody particular, but if it resonates with you, that's great, because I do believe the card that I'm going to pull is meant for someone either watching now or someone watching later, or sometimes I read them, I'm like, I think that one was for me. So, and there we go. That's the one that just kind of stuck out of the deck real quick here, so. All right, so, highest path. You are a child of the divine, here to manifest your path of service on earth. Use your keen intuition and natural psychic gifts to follow your heart's desire. You inherit wisdom as a gift of the Akashic Records. Use it to guide you in the direction of your intended evolution. Be willing to release anything that prevents your progress, including old beliefs and behaviors. You are attuned with the universe. Believe in yourself and be disciplined as your path unfolds. And the card is purple, so that gives us a good sign that it is for our crown chakra. The crystal is, I don't know if I'm just going to say this right, so Charot, and I don't have one of those, I don't think, and I don't think I said it right, but, and the herb is spikenard, and I don't believe I have any spikenard. I don't know, my collection is getting so big, really, that sometimes it's pretty hard for me to remember what I have and what I don't have. So I'm going to take a quick picture of that so we can get it up on the page here. Weird shadow. All right. My photography is not like super amazing on these. It's just a quick snapshot to get that up there for you. All right. So before I start, I'm going to do my drum with you guys real quick. So as usual, when you order something, you get a free little vial of perfume. And this time I got Beautiful. So whenever you place an order, you're going to get one of these. Whether there's any other codes or coupons or anything else, you're going to get a free little perfume. I have a whole collection in my bathroom, and I have a whole collection here. And someday I'll probably use them as giveaways, or who knows what. Or I just knocked my fan down. This is the fan I made for smudging. I always forget to use it. Alright. And so this is the drum. It is very small, but I like that. There's a lot of drums that you can get that are all different sizes. But like I said, my space is pretty small here. I don't have like my own room for my stuff. I have just this little section here in my living room. And so I don't want it completely taken over by myself, which is kind of happening anyway. But so that's what the front of it looks like. And then it comes with a little drumstick, and there's a little hole in there for holding it. And you just play it. But I haven't learned how to do that yet, so I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But yeah, it's a nice little small drum. Like I said, I didn't really want a big one. So I either take things to work or use them for crafting or use them as giveaways on here. I haven't done a giveaway for a while, so maybe it's going to be time to do a giveaway, but I'll go over this real quick. This is a stone of sexual energy or prana. Shivas open the kundalini and awaken the passion within, aligns and balances the sacral chakra. So that is what that is for. So that would be a good one to keep on your nightstand. And the other one that came, I didn't have one of these yet, so that was neat that I got something different. And it is called a lemon, and you actually can see pretty well that it's yellow. It's a lemon serpentine. And again, it's the stone of the Kundalini awakening, personal power and balance of mood. Lemon serpentine calms mood swings and helps you find power within your relationship. So again, that's for your Kundalini awakening. I won't go into all the Kundalini stuff today, but maybe that's a good thing to talk about. This is usually what happens. Like I'll go into something and I'll go, I don't think I've talked to you guys about that before. And maybe some of you don't know what that means. And that's when I'll be like, oh, I guess I need to do a video on that. So maybe I need to do a video on Kundalini because I don't believe I have done that before. And some of you may not know what that means. So, note to self. All right. And now we're going to get into today's topic. And if I have time, I have a few other things I will go over with you. I have a mess now. I'm usually pretty good about keeping tidy, but I guess not this morning. Put these back. I like to take good care of my cards. I don't want them left out. All right. So this morning we're going to talk about Litha. And again, I don't really know if I'm saying that correctly. I get a lot of my content, knowledge, wisdom, learning, whatever you want to call it, from reading, whether it be reading books or reading things online or whatnot. So a lot of times I'm not really sure how things are pronounced because I've never heard anybody really say them before. So I could potentially be saying it incorrectly, but it's Litha. So I would go with Litha. So Litha is the first day of summer. It is a pagan holiday, which most of you guys who've been watching my videos know that the pagan holidays are important to me. They are ones I like to celebrate. But yeah, it's the first day of summer, also known as, on the calendar, it's going to say summer solstice. And I believe it is on Friday this year, so tomorrow, which is why we're talking about it today. Let's see here. It's also the longest day of the year. Yeah, see, I don't have my glasses on and I'm having a hard time with my notes here. So I have to keep kind of leaning in. So the no glasses thing might not work. Oh, sorry. It's the longest day of the year. All right, and like I said, it can be also known as midsummer, but I don't really like that title because to me it's kind of a misleading title. It's not midsummer. I don't know if they were going for like a summer's, the eve of summer or something maybe with that. I don't know where they were going with that, but I don't really like that title. So I do like Litha, but most people are going to know it by summer solstice. It is known for people who celebrate magic, practice magic, people that are, there's so many titles, I don't even know if I should go into them because I don't want to miss anything, but if you practice healing, if you practice witchery, you know, all those different things, summer solstice is a big time to practice magic, because what they call it is drawing down the sun, and what that is they're really just taking this time, because like I said, it's the longest day, so it's the day of the year that the sun is out the longest, and so the people who practice magic are going to use that sun's energy in their practice on that day. It's kind of like it's the strongest, you know, like the moon is out every night, but full moon and new moon are kind of like PowerPoints. It's not on the computer PowerPoints. But yeah, so that's a day that the sun is out the longest and it's the strongest, and so that is the day, if you are going to be doing sun magic, that you would want to do that, and that's called drawing down the sun. It's also a really great time to put out your crystals, but we'll talk about that in a minute. So again, it's about celebrating. I took my allergy pill this morning, but my nose has been a little crazy all week, so there's something in the air that's not quite, my allergy pill isn't quite taken care of, so I apologize. Celebrating success, fertility, good fortune, and things that you have created. Because back then, they would want fertility of their crops, they would want fertility of their livestock, they would want fertility of their families. So those were all things that were very important. Not like us, if we plant a tomato on the front porch and it doesn't really live, we can still go to the grocery store. They didn't have that luxury, so they needed to really make sure that their livestock, that their planting, even like nature's fertility, because you know that they needed to hunt, so you know they needed the animals in the woods, forest, whatever, to be fertile as well, because they needed to be able to have that to hunt for eating over the winter and storing over the winter. So and things you created, because you know, that's kind of what fertility is, you know, not even just like as far as birth wise and stuff. If you're creating something, you know, you're giving birth to something, you know, whatever that is. Sorry, my phone's making noises. Whatever that may be, you're giving birth to something. It's so to me, it's kind of fertility and creativity are pretty similar in this aspect anyway. So yeah, and obviously it is a fire festival. I guess I shouldn't say obviously. Pagans loved their fire festivals, and so most everything they do is a fire festival. They have what they call great fire festivals, which are bigger festivals than other festivals, and Litha is one of the great fire festivals. Pagans just like to have fire and burn shit, I guess. I don't know. It was a big thing for them. So if you were a pagan and you were going to celebrate Litha tomorrow, you would have a huge bonfire, and it would be something that couples would jump over for good luck, for fertility, for all, all the things I just said, good fortune, success. And typically these couples would be going to be married. They would typically going to be married. And so this leads into a little cute thing, which, it's one of those things, like I always wonder where names of things come from or how things get called certain things and stuff. So these young couples would, sorry, my leg is falling asleep. These young couples would jump over the fire for good luck, for fortune, for success, all that stuff, because they were to be married, or they were just married, depending on what's going on. But typically, this would be the time of marriages, which we all know that everybody loves June weddings. So it's like, that's kind of weird that's where it comes from. But that is a typical time that they would have been doing ceremonies, hand fastings, ceremonies for couples back then. And the full moon in June is called the honeymoon. So that's where we get the name that you're going to go on your honeymoon, because most couples were married around the time of the honeymoon. Fun little tidbit there for you. I don't know. I think those things are neat when you kind of like, oh, I didn't know that's where that came from, where that title came from, or how that got its name, or why that was called that. I find those things very interesting. But maybe it's just me. So yeah, let's see what else we got here. So yeah, I think that's it for that part of it. I mean, there's obviously a lot more that I could talk about, but I do try to keep these videos in a timely manner, because I also have to go to work and I can't stay here all day and talk to you guys, which I would love to do. But so a couple things if you wanted to celebrate this holiday, this summer solstice, Litha, or midsummer. I don't like that name, but that's what some people call it. So I do have a couple of things to do. As you know, I love to give little lists of things, little examples. So you could create a fire altar, and that does not mean you're going to create an altar and set it on fire. That is not what I mean. You could just create a little altar. Some people don't like the word altar, and that's fine. If you don't like the word altar, that is fine. Sometimes I just say you can call it, I gotta move my feet. You could call it a centerpiece. You could just, like I have my countertop that goes right behind me here that divides the living room and the kitchen. I could make a little, take a little placemat and make a little arrangement on it and make it more of like a centerpiece kind of thing than an altar, if you don't like the word altar. But some of the things that you could put on there are candles, obviously. And if you were going to do a candle, I would suggest the colors like of the sun. So like orange, yellows. You could even do a red one. I don't really like the red, because to me red is more like fall, autumny kind of a color. But you could definitely do like an orange-ish or yellowish candle. I don't think I have one that color. get a candle. If you wanted to work with the oil, so if you wanted to either make a perfume or if you wanted to use it in your diffuser. The other thing I do is I take coconut and I melt it in the microwave for just a little bit because it comes hard. I melt it and then I pour in all the oils and stir it up, and then I put it in those little like silicone ice cube trays and let it harden back up, and then they're easy to pop out. Like if you use an ice cube tray, it doesn't pop out at all. It like just mushes and makes a mess. But those silicone ones, you can kind of pop them off really easy, and it makes your own little warmer things for like your Scentsy burners and stuff. And that way you can take them with you if you want. I'm going to put one at work, but you do have to store them in the fridge, especially during this time of year when it's warm, because if they do sit out, they will get soft and mushy. So I just have a little bowl in the back of my refrigerator, and I put them in a little baggie so they don't get stuck together or whatever. I put them in little baggies in there in that little bowl. So when I need a new new little, it's like a half circle thing, I just can pop that right into my Scentsy burner and use that. So anyway, if you wanted to do that, if anybody's interested, I'm gonna start offering some of these things for sale. So if somebody wants to have something like that and they don't want to make them, I'm willing to go ahead and start selling that stuff. I'm just not going to make like a ton of it and go to vending shows and that kind of stuff. But if somebody came on and said, I want to order 6 or 7 of those melts, I guess I got to come up with a name for them, those melts, and pick the scents or whatever. They told me to pick whatever seasonal scents or whatever. I'll come up with a price that hopefully is fair. Mostly it's just going to be to cover my cost of the supplies. So I'm going to start doing some of that stuff. So if I'm talking about oils or perfumes and you want a perfume that's like that, there always are perfumes on Sage Goddess. But if you want something that's more homemade, I can certainly do that for you as well. So I'm going to start to offer some of that stuff. I do the perfumes. I do bug spray. It's not really spray. It's a little, I usually put it in a little roll-on bottle, and you just need to put a little, like I put it on my neck, my wrists, and my feet or ankles. I'm going to offer some of that. But anyway, getting sidetracked. I'm going to offer some stuff. So if there's something you're interested in, send me a message or put it in the comments, and I will take care of that for you. Anyway, back to the fire element oils. That would be your tangerine, your clove, and cardamom would be good ones for that. So if I was going to make a little cube for my Scentsy burner, those are ones that I would use. And if you were going to, if you put your candle out, and then maybe you could put your little, if you have like a diffuser or a Scentsy burner, you could put it beside the candle. And then you could maybe put some of the crystals around it. And some of the crystals that you could work with are fire opal, carnelian, or red calcite. I did have a carnelian around here somewhere, right here. And you'll see it's that that red color. But again, I really like to keep my red for my autumn equinox kind of things, but you could use those. The other thing you could do, I'm falling apart lately here, guys. I apologize. The other thing you could do was decorate around the altar or centerpiece. So some of the things that you could use during this time would be, let's see here. I had it written down right here. Bees. So bees are a good symbol. Butterfly. Cows or horses, which is kind of a little weird if you're trying to put a cow on your counter, but Some of you do your kitchens in cows, and so maybe you have something that's like that. But I have like, I don't know if I can show it to you. Like I buy these little butterflies at the dollar store, and this is a candle I made. And I just put the little butterfly on there. So a lot of that stuff you can just buy at the dollar store. So you could use butterflies, bumblebees, cows, horses, fairies are a good use right now. Birds, the sun. So those are all, like if you had, I don't know, little, sometimes you can get things at the dollar store that have like the sun. I have a little plaque thing I bought that's like the sun with the moon on the side. You could put something like that out. So that is kind of creating ideas for creating an altar or a centerpiece. Or if you'd like. Some of the other things you could use is flowers. So along with the altar, you could incorporate the flowers. Or if you didn't want to do the altar, you could do the flowers on their own and just use the flowers as a centerpiece. Typically, what you're going to use is sunflowers. That's a very obvious choice for celebrating the sun, would be sunflowers. But anything that falls in that yellow, orangey, like I said, you can use red. I choose not to, but you can use anything that falls in those colors for your different flowers. Another one is roses. Again, it's not my choice to use a rose. Roses always make me just think of Valentine's Day, and maybe that's just me, but roses just really make me think of Valentine's Day and not a lot of other holidays. So when I see roses, I just kind of think, oh, it's like Valentine's Day or somebody's anniversary. So they're not very representative for me, but they may be for somebody else. But roses are associated with the holiday of Litha. So you could actually just buy a bouquet and put it out for a centerpiece if you wanted. If you wanted to incorporate them into your altar or your centerpiece, one of the things you could do, and I had a friend of mine who got flowers at work, and she had them on her desk for a while, and she was getting ready to throw them away, and I said, can I have those? And she kind of was like, okay. So what I did was I just bundled them all up. I wrapped a garbage bag around them because they were a little wet at the time, and I've let them dry. And so you can see they're all dry. And so what I'm going to do is you can pull the petals off, and you could sprinkle them around your space, whether it be altar or centerpiece. You could sprinkle them around. Or the other thing you could do, which is what I'm going to do, is I guess there's a couple other things. You could make a potpourri out of it. You could just pull all the petals off and put it in a nice little bowl or something like that, and use that as a centerpiece design as well. But what I'm going to do is actually crumple them. So I'm making sure they're really dry. And I'm going to crumple them up, and I'm going to use them as incense to burn. So you could do that as well. You know, instead of just throwing them away, you know, find a reason to keep them. Find something to do with them. You could even take a candle like what I just showed you, and you could, you know, glue the petals on there as well, because as you can see on the back here, that's what I've got, a couple of petals that are just glued on there. The flowers in the front are fake, but these petals in the back are real petals. And someday I'll burn it, but right now I'm just like, I really like it, and I'm pretty proud of it, and so I'm just going to keep it for a little while. Eventually I'll get sick of it and burn it. But so flowers, yeah, so you can, all the different things you can do with flowers. The other thing is you can, because I think it's getting time that I have to get going here. Put my Fitbit back on after vacation. Put a few pounds on after on vacation. So we need to work on taking those back off. Is charging your crystals. So I did mention that a little bit ago, is it's a really good time to charge your crystals. So you would, just like you would for full moon, you're going to take all your crystals and you're going to put them either outside where they are going to get direct sun, or if you have a window that gets sun. I don't really have, well, I do, but it gets the morning sun, but it doesn't get much sun after that. Whereas my crystals get quite a bit of the moon in that window. But the sun goes up and comes around pretty quick and doesn't really do much right there. But if you have a window, you could put them in, or you could take them outside. Just a reminder that there are some crystals that will fade if they're left in the sun too long. And there are some crystals, if it's raining out on Friday, which I don't know if it's supposed to or not, it's raining, there are some crystals that will start to break down if they get wet. So if you're going to do that, do a little research or pop me a message and I'll see what I can do for helping you. I do have a couple of different lists of like top crystals not to get wet and not to take out in the sun and stuff, but I probably won't be able to cover all of them, but I could cover some of them. The suggested is to take them out when the sun is the strongest, and I did look it up, and I think it's supposed to be like at 8:20 something in the morning. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that. Most likely if I take mine out, it's not going to be at 8:20 in the morning, but maybe. I don't typically sun charge my crystals though. I typically do moon charge them. But a lot of people do sun charge them. So, we've talked about that before. You can water charge them. There's other ways you can charge them besides just the moon, but that's the way I prefer to do it. But if you wanted to try sun charging them, it would be a perfect time. The only thing with sun charging them is you are going to want to make sure you don't leave them out there very long. And you're going to want to make sure that you bring them in before it starts getting like that dusk dawn kind of time, because then the moon charging will kind of overpower the sun charging. So if you wanted them just to be sun charged, you would have to take them out and bring them in before it gets like that, dusk dawn kind of time. So that's that. And then the last thing is obviously you could have a bonfire. If you live in an area where you can't have a big bonfire, I have a beautiful backyard which has a fire pit that my husband made. So we will probably have a bonfire out there some point this weekend. May not be necessarily Friday, but Friday or Saturday we'll have a bonfire. But if you don't, there's lots of other things you could do. You can just light a candle and have your fire ceremony that way. Just take one candle and light it, and that's fine. The other thing you could do is if you have one of those little like fire pit rings, you could use something like that. There's lots of different things you could do besides just having a huge bonfire. There's another thing you could do, but I do caution being safe with it, is you could get like a metal or copper bowl, like a good sized bowl, and you could just put some stuff in there and light it if you have a space. If you're doing it on a porch, just make sure your porch is big enough to do that. Don't do it where if the wind's going to blow and blow fire onto something and catch your house on fire. Don't do that. But so even if you have a space but you don't have an outside space where you could, like, you have a big bonfire pit, you can take a bowl, and a copper bowl, metal bowl, something that's not going to catch on fire or melt, and glass will probably crack, so metal, and put a few twigs or whatever and burn it. You could burn incense, actually light them. Instead of using like a charcoal disc, you could put a couple of incense in a bowl and actually light them. It's not going to stay on fire very long, but you could do that. So those are some of the suggestions I have for you. So yeah, tomorrow is the summer solstice. Tomorrow is also the day that we're going to switch over from Gemini to Cancer. So in the next couple of weeks, we'll be talking about the zodiac sign of Cancer. And let's see here. And I wrote down on the 27th, Neptune is going retrograde. I don't really know what that means yet. So I'll do some reading and post something for you guys. So I'm pretty familiar with the Mercury retrograde, but a lot of the other planets going retrograde, I'm learning as I go, and as I learn, I will pass that on to you guys. So that's pretty much it for today. Yeah, because I have to get going to work. But like I said, I am going to be, I do have my bug, I don't want to call it spray because it's not spray, insect repellent, I guess. So this is good I make it for mosquitoes and ticks. So if that's something you're interested in, let me know. I don't have any extras made up at the moment, but if people are interested in them, I will certainly make them up. Like I said, I also have those little wax melts that I made, and wax melt's not a good name because it's not any wax in it. I guess I do have to come up with a name for them to call them. But they're made with coconut oil and essential oils, and you can burn them in your Scentsy burners or wax burners or whatever. It doesn't have to be Scentsy, but it's for that. So I make those if that's anything you're interested in. I wouldn't charge much, like maybe a couple of dollars for each one. I don't know. $1 for each one. I don't know. I'd have to kind of figure out what it was going to cost me to make them. I'm just starting to do this. I also do body sprays. I do the perfume oil mixes. Like I make them all the time for myself. I just made this one, which I named Cumran, which is Gaelic for just perfume. But it was a neat sounding name. So I make different perfumes that I can make if anybody's interested in perfume. I've made the beard oils for men before, so I could make some of those. Body scrubs I can make. I haven't done the bath bombs yet, so maybe I'll experiment with that. I don't know. But if there's anything that you're interested in, let me know. I will try to make up a few things and post them on the group for people to see. The insect repellent's really easy because it's the same every time. I put the same things in it every time. But like the perfumes and the wax melts and the beard oils and bath scrubs and all that stuff, I kind of like to make them per person, because somebody might call me and say, I'm having problems with my sciatica, and I can make something that's going to be perfumey but also helpful for them at the same time. And there's so many different combinations that it's really hard to kind of have like a full stock of things, made up ahead of time. That's not going to cost me $1 million to make all this stuff and then have it stored somewhere. I haven't got to that point. I would love to have a storefront and have all this stuff and you could just walk in and buy it. But if that ever happens, it's not going to be probably for many, many, many years. I have to win the mega bucks first. But yeah, if there's something you're interested in, just plop me a message and let me know. And I will try to put some posts up about it, as we go. I will, ask maybe if anybody wants the bug insect repellent and take some orders for that, and then I'll go from there. Bug season is here now. That's why I'm going back to that one. But this one I made last year, and so that's how much I used from last year. So you don't need a ton of it. You just need a little bit. And it's not going to have DEET in it. It's not going to have chemicals in it. It's not going to, be harmful for you to wear it or use it. So with that being said, I will see you guys all on Tuesday. So maybe we'll talk about Kundalini. I don't know. We'll see. And I had some more crystals to go over, but I'm not going to have time for that. But I wanted to show you the drum, so that was kind of a fun thing that I got. So I'll be interested in kind of teaching myself how to play that. I haven't had a lot of time to do a lot of any of this stuff lately. I've been very busy, but I kind of, think of it as sometimes I feel bad that I have all this stuff and I'm not really using it to the potential that I should. But the other part of me is, you know what? Athena always teaches that everything happens in perfect timing, that everything's for a reason. So there's a reason that I'm getting these tools now. And my theory on that is because I can. I'm not spending thousands of dollars at a time in a store or in supplies. I buy a little bit every week as I can. I try to buy things, like I said, that come with, I try to buy on days where there are either free stones or free perfumes, so that my collection is getting bigger that way without me, there's a good amount of stuff here that I didn't buy that came free with something. I have a ton of perfumes that I've got for free. I have a ton of stones that I have got for free. Necklaces and all different stuffs that I have got for free. And there will be a purpose for it. I'm not quite sure what it'll be yet, but there will be a purpose for it. So, with that being said, I'm going to try to learn the drum. I do want to learn how to play the drum. So, that is my task for the next few weeks. All right. So, I will see you guys on Tuesday. I hope everybody has a really great weekend. Tell you, with no glasses, I'm going blind here. I can't see crap. I hope everybody has a good weekend. And as always, if anybody wants a card pull, just remember that I don't do tarot. It's oracle cards. And I think I confused somebody with that a couple weeks ago, and I do apologize for that. That was not my intention. But I do oracle card readings. So if anybody's interested in that, send me a message. If somebody wants a tarot reading, let me know. I have a few friends that do it, and I could probably set something up or get you contact information or whatnot, just to let you know that most of them do charge, though. And I don't do tarot readings. So, yeah. So everybody have an awesome day. Thanks for watching, whether you're watching now or watching later. Put a comment in or give me a thumbs up if you watched it. It's just kind of nice to know, who is watching them and who's seeing them, and if anybody's actually even interested in what I'm talking about. And I hope you be kind, because your kindness could change your day, and it could change someone else's day, potentially somebody else's life. So